You're listening to The Sports Moment, January 18th, 2024. Part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Welcome to the podcast, and boy, we've got some fun lined up for you today. We're going to be hearing from Fergus Falls Activities Director Derek Abrahams in just a few minutes. Real special night coming up Monday night at the Roosevelt Gym, the Outer Field House. A doubleheader of basketball between Moorhead and Fergus Falls. Girls at 6:30, boys at about 8 o'clock in the old gym. And boy, that's going to be a fun night. It's Alumni Night. No charge to come and watch all the action. Minnesota Motor Company is picking up the tab for all the fans, even those wearing orange and black from Moorhead. So that's a great gesture by the Brimhalls, who are all alumni to Fergus Falls High School, and they want you to go and enjoy it and not worry about the cost on Monday night. Should be a great night of basketball, and we'll hear from Derek about the special alumni night that is going on that evening at the Roosevelt Gym. So we'll have that in just a couple of minutes. Also, yesterday we put up the second half of our featured podcast on the 2000-2001 Lady Spartans basketball team, the NJCAA Division III national champions, and you can check out part 1 and part 2 of the podcast now. They are both posted here on the Craig Olson Sports Moments and Memories podcast, so be sure to check those out, share and like, if you would, please, and make sure Spartan fans get a chance to view that as we caught up with all 9 members of that championship team and coaches Ann Williams and Brenda Johnson when they were inducted into the Legends Hall of Fame at M State back in early December. So fun putting it together, fun remembering all those great games and great memories that team provided to Spartan fans. And speaking of Spartans, well, last night the Spartan men beat Ridgewater 83-79. Belen Delamati hit a three-pointer with 10 seconds left in the game, and that gave the Spartans the lead. They hit a free throw to make it a 4-point spread after a foul at the other end following a missed three by Ridgewater, and the Spartan men get a great home court victory. They had 4 players in double figures, led by Michele Cambalo with 23 and Tyson MacArthur with 20. Spartans go to 3-2 in the MCAC Southern Division. So that was a great night of basketball at M State. And now let's hear from Derek Abrahams and a great night of basketball for Fergus Falls fans and Moorhead fans coming up on Monday night at the Otter Field House.
Derek Abrahams, the activities director at Fergus Falls High School, is joining us. It's a fun winter for a number of reasons, and not the least of which is some games being played at the Otter Field House on the basketball front. We have gymnastics and wrestling housed there for varsity competition, but getting basketball back in that field house has, I know, been a goal of yours, Derek, as AD, and boy, it's been fun to have some basketball back in there, and we've got a great night planned for Monday night.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. We have one of our oldest rivals with Moorhead coming to town. This is something that we put together along with Dean Haugo, the activities director over at Moorhead. He was real excited to have an opportunity. He had coached in that gym previously when he was a coach at Breckenridge, and was real excited to possibly have a game in there. And so we set this up as a boy-girl doubleheader, and we're ready to go.
And it all starts with I'm sure the JV action before, and then the varsity. So give us a little lowdown of the schedule that night.
So the first game, we're going to run 4 games back to back to back to back. So the first game is actually going to start at 3:30 to get them all in there. So the girls JV against Moorhead at 3:30. Then approximately 5 o'clock will be the boys JV game against Moorhead. Then at about 6:30 approximately will be the girls varsity, followed by the boys varsity. So we will start at 3:30. Then our approximate time is about every hour and a half. But we're obviously just going to kind of keep the games rolling as we go.
And, of course, it's a special night in a number of ways, not only the basketball and Moorhead coming in, but also it's Alumni Night, and fans are getting in free thanks to a great sponsor and supporter of Otter Athletics.
Yep, Minnesota Motors has agreed to make that a Minnesota Motor Night, which is great, especially with that spread out time of and starting earlier. It's always hard to get, we have to have a lot of people there to help with tickets and everything, and Minnesota Motors was so gracious and said, they're all alumni too, and said this would be a great night for a Minnesota Motor Night. So it is going to be free. The place should be packed between the two teams that are coming in. Moorhead's close by and always has a good following. So it should be a great atmosphere in there. I know the alumni band is going to be in there. So we're really looking forward to it. It's been about a year in the works here, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, and this is a special year, too, Derek, for Otter basketball history, because 20 years ago, the Otters were at state in 2004 under Gary Schuler's leadership, and 40 years ago, they were at state in 1984 with Bob Bjorklund as the head coach. So what do you have planned for honoring those teams? Is that going to be a part of Monday night at all?
The 1984 team, we're planning on a reunion with them. We're going to actually do that on March 1st, which is the last game of the year for the boys against Wilmer. That game is also going to be over at Roosevelt. And, excuse me. So we're inviting as many of the players that can come back for that 40-year reunion. But on Monday night, we are working on getting some special guests up there, former coaches, both from Moorhead and Fergus Falls, that have been a big part of that rivalry that we've had. So we have been contacting those previous coaches and seeing if we can get them up there for this game as well.
So I have to ask you, as a diehard Otter, bleeds maroon and gold, all that, and you've been really spearheading this effort to get games back in the Roosevelt Gym. I've got to ask you what some of your top memories are of Otter basketball at Roosevelt.
Well, just most of mine are as a kid. Growing up here, the first year that I really started going to all the games was 1984 with that 1984 state tournament team and following them. But going into that gym, it was just, as a kid, it might as well have been, a professional stadium. It was the big time. And it was just such a great atmosphere. It was so much fun to watch games there growing up. But I did have a highlight when I moved around a little bit in high school. My family did. In my senior year, I ended up in Detroit Lakes, having that one game where I got to play in that gym against Fergus Falls, of course. But I got to play in that gym, and that is the one game that I really do remember from my senior year, was being able to play in that gym, and it was such a great feeling, and so many memories for so many people going back to when it was first built. I would say the other highlight about that gym for me has really been in the past 2 years working on this project, the number of stories that I've heard from people throughout the generations of what that gym has meant to them. And there's no shortage of those stories. And that's what's great. And it's everything from great sports moments to prom to plays or concerts they had there. And even I've heard multiple stories from the class of that, or people that were in there in the fall of '63, when that's when they gathered all the students there to learn about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And they were telling me, this is the seat I was sitting in when they announced it to us. This is where we were, So that gym has so many memories for so many people. And it's just such a beautiful facility as well. It's not just an old building, and for so many. And it's been a lot of fun for this project, a lot of hard work, and the hard work continues as we continue to make improvements each year. But it's been a really great experience. And I know the students themselves Both the boys and girls have had an opportunity to play games in there now, and both have indicated how much they loved playing in there. And these are kids that were, when we moved over to this facility, at the oldest, some of them were 3 or 4 years old, and some of them weren't even born yet. So they don't have those old memories in it. They're creating the new ones, but they love being in there.
Well, it's got to be so satisfying to you to see the progress that has been made into getting over there. And just as an update, to where are you at now as far as what is going to be done next to bring things up to code and get it to where it needs to be? What improvements are you still looking at?
So there's a lot of internal improvements that the school district itself is doing. We're constantly monitoring it, looking at things as needed over there. So there's been so many projects like that done. As far as the fundraising goes, the two big ones that we were able to raise the money for, which came to about $120,000, was the floor, completely redoing the floor, and then adding the bleachers back to the lower level. With the fundraising we've done this fall, or continue, I shouldn't even say hard fundraising, it's continued donations which are constantly coming in, either through selling seats at the top, which what I mean by that is people can pay $200 and get a plate, which are take up, as we speak right now, is creating even more plates as people have put more in. But for $200, we'll put a name plate with your name or the name of a loved one or whoever on the seat of your choice. So we're doing a lot of that. But we've just purchased a new ice machine for the training room. So we have that over there for the safety of our kids. And also padded chairs, like we have in the maroon gym. Right now we kind of haul them back and forth, or the gold gym here at KSS. So we're doing a set of those over there as well. Things that we're still fundraising for. So we kind of purchase things as the money comes in. There's going to be updates into the concession stand to bring that up to code. Probably one of the bigger projects that we'd like to take on as soon as we're able to raise the money for it is updating the locker rooms. We want to keep that old feel. We're not, of what we've had in the past, but just getting lockers in there for game nights for our players, both the visitors and the home team. If you were in that locker room a long time ago, it hasn't changed. Probably even the same lockers. So just doing some updates to the locker room, especially for game nights and things like that. That's another project we're looking at. And people keep coming in, whether it's coaches or parents or whatever, and say, really this would be something that we could do, and other people bring in ideas of things. So it's a constant thing. So we're still very happy to get that help that the community has been so generous with. So if there's anybody out there that's still thinking they would like to donate throughout this year, there are projects that we're still doing. The big ones luckily got done. And the shot clocks, I should say that. That was another, a few $1,000s to get shot clocks in there because of the new rule change. So we got the big ones that make it possible for us to play games in there now. But it's been a great facility. There's been gymnastics meets. All of our gymnastics and wrestling have been in there. And it's not like it's closed up on nights we don't have a game, because that gets used every single day now by our high school and middle school basketball teams, volleyball teams, community ed, physical education, so many different things. It's allowed us to do this. I think every Monday night we have about 60 kids in there for archery, which we couldn't have done if we didn't have that gym. So it's been a labor of love. There's no question for that place, and I think a lot of others agree. And so we're just going to kind of keep going, and it's just going to be a constant effort to get those things to make it a great gym. And just a couple quick notes of what it means to even people outside of Fergus Falls. Dean Haugo, who I've been obviously working with, the activities director for Moorhead, they opened their brand new gym just 3-4 weeks ago. And I asked him about that, and his quote to me was, when people asked about his new gym, he said, "I feel like we have probably one of the best new gyms now in the state of Minnesota." And he said, "But I tell people, I don't know if we'll ever be able to create the atmosphere of either the old Staples or the old Fergus Falls gym." And so that's why he's with this great facility they have. They're still so excited to come and play on Monday. And Hey, the Wilmer people that came up the other day were talking to me, and they said it's hardly fair now because they think Fergus Falls has probably 2 of the top 3 or 4 gyms in the whole CLC now. Both the Roosevelt and even our Gold Gym compared to many of the other gyms in the CLC. So others have recognized that. We have no shortage of teams. Most teams now request to play over there. Just doesn't always work out that we can play all of our games there.
No, it's great. You've done a great job leading it, Derek, and great to see this community step up the way it has. And yeah, we do have probably 2 best gyms in the Central Lakes Conference. I don't think there's much doubt. Well, we look forward to Monday night. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks to Minnesota Motor Company for paying everybody's admission, and should be a great crowd on hand when the Spuds come to town on Monday night. So we need some sit-down Chucky signs in case Mr. Golzovic does show up, and then we need the Mash the Spuds chant every now and then.
I think that would be in order. So should be a fun night.
Derek, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. You're doing a great job. Hang in there.
All right. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for everything you do.
Derek Abrahams, Activities Director at Fergus Falls High School.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, one of our sponsors. They have 5 locations in Minnesota, and they invite you to check out their boat show booths at the Minneapolis Convention Center and the Fargo Dome this month. The boat show discount promotion is in effect now, and you can save money before spring with Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Thanks to Derek Abrahams for joining us to talk about a special Monday night Alumni Night at the Roosevelt Gym when the Moorhead Spuds are in town. Remember, check out the second half of the Lady Spartans feature podcast on that 2000-2001 National Championship team. And come back again tomorrow, won't you?
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and thanks for listening.